Welcome to my first episode, my pilot episode of Love the Human, Hate the Behavior. I will be diving into the subject of the difficult behaviors that our loved ones exhibit and even those with whom we associate in our circles, our social circles. How do we come to grips with the toxic displays of underdeveloped self that are coming from those with whom we associate? One of the things that keeps coming up is the subject of narcissism. And I will be diving into the subject of narcissism and all of the different traits of the narcissist. But what I want to do is I want to invite you to be open to the possibility of potentially removing the label of narcissist. Remove the label of narcissism. Remove other labels that your loved ones would exhibit, like maybe they would have crazy or moody or depressed or anxious or anxiety laden. And maybe even just remove any labels. I'm inviting you to remove that label and open your mind to just view the behavior that is being exhibited in front of you so that we can sort of slough off and remove the overwhelm that comes with trying to get your hands completely around what a person is and all of the different aspects of self that includes labeling somebody as anything. It's almost like you're trying to fit them inside a box of villainy. And I want to sort of open that box and look inside that box and see that person as someone to love. And when we do that, we can also apply that same perspective for ourselves. When we begin to remove the labels and we just see the imperfections and the sort of clunkiness of human behavior that exists among all of us, we sort of become open to a grace that can exist by looking directly at what happened and what do we make that mean when that happens, and how is it best that I can handle that, both to protect myself and grow myself and heal myself, but also how do I best love the person that is in front of me. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean that we are ever going to excuse their toxic behavior. This is never going to be a podcast or an advice session where we are saying that we just need to accept or get over or somehow just kowtow to people that are acting out or irrationally or being abusive in any way. What this is inviting you to explore the possibility of different ways to see a person and handle their behavior as it is displayed in a way that you still feel like your highest and best self. The reason why the subject has become so important to me is I have seen in my own life and the lives of those around me how it just seems to be that narcissism specifically, I know there are other labels out there, that narcissism seems to be the new label of hate. It's the new color of hate. It's the new way of creating distance between humans. There are so many podcasts and influencers and advice givers and psychologists that are giving wonderful insights into toxic behavior and teaching about that. But often that seems to accompany the advice of get yourself away, leave the relationship, distance yourself. And that is problematic for me because I have many wonderful individuals in my life who fit some of the categories that they are talking about. And I also have loved ones that are experiencing the same thing, where we have loved ones who we are not going to divorce, quote unquote divorce. And that could be in any social aspect. And I don't mean just marriage and divorce itself, but to rid ourselves of a human from complete contact. So there is a subject of going no contact with a narcissist, which is a very healthy tactic. And I'm not going to say that that isn't, because sometimes that is the tactic that is necessary. But what I would like to open your mind to and invite the possibility of is for those individuals in your life that you are wanting to keep, that may display patterns of toxic behavior. How do we interact with those humans who just don't seem to show up in a way that is how we would perceive a highest self would show up? Because maybe that's as high as they will ever be. So in those instances, the purpose of this podcast is to help you to strengthen and grow your highest self so that you can face those behaviors in your personal best way possible. And I'm going to invite you to explore the possibilities of what that may be. So I'd like to invite you to join me on this series as we explore and discover the different subjects of toxic displays of human behavior and how we apply love and openness through those so that we can be present and handle in the best way possible. One of the ways that I will be inviting you to process some of the toxic things that you have experienced is a Hawaiian phrase that I have recently discovered and absolutely love. It is called ho'oponopono. And ho'oponopono is basically saying, I forgive you for whatever has happened. It's a way to clear negative energy between you and the other person without ever expecting that human to apologize. So, and we could go into a whole description. I invite you to look that up. But the practice is basically you say ho'oponopono and then you say 4 things. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you see it in an infinity loop passing between you and the other person. So I would like you to close your eyes in this moment and imagine that you are in front of a person that you have experienced conflict with. And I want you to repeat in your mind the words, ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. See the words passing along this loop going to the person in front of you, passing through them and coming back to you, and going through you and passing back to them. Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And as you can see, that is something that has even just affected me in this moment. And I hope that this is something that this podcast will be something that can support you and guide you and invite you to heal and strengthen and understand and grow in a way that allows you to handle the imperfections of the loved ones that you choose to keep in your circles, whatever that may be. All right, my friends, I will see you on the next episode.